Welcome everybody for our session 2 of the Youth Entrepreneurship program. And it's so great to see so many new faces. What we're going to do today is building on what we covered in session 1. Today's primary focus is to help nurture and build the think muscle as part of the entrepreneurship mindset. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this as a 2-part series. First, I'm going to talk about how to go from sight to insight and some of the exercises that we have done. And then we're going to watch one artifact. That's a very profound artifact. We're going to reflect on it and we're going to engage for some kind of a session. Then I'm super thrilled to have Naveen Lakkur, a gifted author, entrepreneur, and the founder of Inspiring Innovation Institute in India. He's going to lead us through a workshop that will actually allow us to start building the entrepreneurship mindset. I assume all of you have the online accounts. I think particularly the folks who have come for the first one. So Naveen is going to lead us through that workshop, which I think is going to be a surprise and delight. I myself, do not know what the experience is going to be. I'm going to simply surrender to it. But before we begin, does anybody know what is the opening entrepreneurship invocation prayer that we did? Does anybody know? Anybody did any homework? Okay, so let me recite that. This is there are 2 entrepreneurship verses that we learned in the last session. But let me start with the first one, and I'm going to share the essence, and then we'll jump right into the session. Okay. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And this is a beautiful entrepreneurship and a learning invocation. What it actually means is whenever we are engaged in a process of learning any new skill, we both seek a partnership, the teacher and the student. And the interesting thing is, we're all teachers, we're all students. There is no one designated teacher or one designated student. We're all playing the dual roles. And what we are seeking is, the first line says, we are seeking a partnership so that we're all pursuing together in this process of learning. And then the second thing is the very important thing, which is what I require all of us to surrender to, which is that we are going to deploy all the faculties that we have, our mind and our energy and our focus and deep listening and also engaging in the discussions. It's our commitment that we're going to give everything that we have so that we could be successful in the process of learning. That's the second one. And then the third one is very profound, which is that we don't compete with anybody. We're not here to compete with each other. The journey of the learning is ours. If there is anybody that we want to compete with, that's with our own selves. We are going from our current state to a better state. And ultimately, it's all about establishing peace and harmony. And this is something that I encourage all of you to make this as your own words, that, before going to school or before going to work, recite this so that it actually creates the right energy to lead our lives. And then towards the end, we're going to do one more entrepreneurship prayer. Does anybody remember what we're going to end up with? Samskruti?
No.
No? Shruti?
No.
Okay, so that means we're going to learn that again, right? So without much further ado, let me start today's session. But before I do it, I know we forgot to do this last time. So how about we go around and quickly introduce everybody, and then most importantly, say about what are your expectations from this camp? What would you like to get? And then if you have couple more sentences, particularly if you have any startups, if you have played with any experiments of building your own idea, share that with us. So want to start with, want to go?
Sure, yeah. Hi, I'm Veda. I'm a sophomore. In this session, I got to know about it today morning, actually. It's really exciting. I hope to get a little bit more insight on the process of entrepreneurship, learn from new tips and tricks.
Excellent.
Hi, my name is Varun. I'm a rising senior, and I'm very excited to learn more about entrepreneurship.
Hi, my name is Sanskriti. I'm going to 7th grade, and I'm excited to unlock that entrepreneurship part of my brain.
I'm Shruti. I'm gonna be a sophomore in college. I'm excited to learn more about innovation and turning in my ideas into actual projects.
I'm Sanjana. I'm gonna be a senior in high school, and I'm just, I want to like learn more like how to become an entrepreneur, like the insights and stuff.
My name is Ritika. I'm a senior, and I want to learn about the insights of entrepreneurship in the process too.
My name is Thorin. I'm a freshman in high school, and I'm just excited to learn about entrepreneurship and what it is.
That's cool. Parthiv, you want to go online?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to learn more about entrepreneurship and just how to do entrepreneurship overall, like all the aspects of it.
That's cool. Yogya Arun?
Yes, my name is Yogi Arun, and I'm in 4th grade, and I just like to learn about how to lead on after making a business.
Let's all give a big round of applause to Yoga Arun, 4th grader who wants to be an entrepreneur. And Yogi, you want to share a little bit about your background? And I heard several things that you are a coding wizard, in Python and this stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to become a programmer, software programmer, and I wanted to, as a young age, do video game programming, and then start to code computers and do more of Java.
Oh, that's so fantastic. In the 4th grade, I probably did not know how to even count properly when I was growing up. So that's cool. So welcome. I think this is the youth that we need for our future. Shrikar?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Shrikar Kawale. I'm a junior in high school, and I just want to learn how to take your idea and make it into like an actual business, because I have like a lot of ideas in businesses, but like it's the execution part where I kind of fail at.
Excellent. And Priya?
Yeah, hi, my name is Priya. I think I'm one of the much older or group people in this group. I'm a product owner, senior business analyst. And I think what interested me was the whole design framework that Srini's come up with, and the whole idea of solving problems and addressing unfair status quos. So yes, I want to learn about, I'm interested in knowing about how to leverage this whole mindset, the thinking muscle and all of it, and eventually taking an idea to fruition. But
Excellent.
More than anything, I'm very excited to see all these young people, and I think it makes me feel young. That's part of the reason I'm in the group. And Yogya, kudos to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Priya. And I also have a guest, some of you who are live, see here. Paul, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Paul Kirch. I'm the CEO of a company called Sellians. We do digital marketing. We're kind of a holistic agency that really focuses more on sales and instead of just driving leads. I'm also a business coach. I started my entrepreneurial career back in 2009, and I launched a sales consulting agency. I was doing sales coaching and consulting, but all my clients wanted marketing, so I made that transition. But I'm here today to see what you guys are working on, and hopefully I can add some value, and we can maybe take this to another level, because between Srini and I and some of the other people involved, we have a lot of different backgrounds that I think work well to give you guys a whole picture of where you're going.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for joining us. Paul is going to
make one.
Please.
One thing I forgot to mention. So I hosted a top 10 business podcast for about 3 years. I was on live radio over in Dallas before going on to the radio, and it's actually how I originally connected with Rajesh was through some of the work I was doing there. We've been friends for a long time, but I don't know do they know who Rajesh is?
No.
Okay. Yeah, but the thing I gained from that show is I interviewed people like John Scully, the former CEO of Apple Computers, and some really amazing professionals. And what you find is that a lot of the things that you're bringing to the table here, every one of them is faced. And I think it's remarkable to do this because I think you guys are getting a jump start that I never had. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi everybody. Just want to take a minute. I'm Kiran. I work in IT department for a financial firm, so I get to see a couple of these things. And what draws me here is really two things that I want to say. One is like I have known Srini for a couple of years. The very first thing is like his passion to do something for people, like without expecting anything, right? And their innovation and their zeal to do, the dare to do something new. It really amazes me because I grew up in a world where it was all conventional, study well, go to a good school, find a good job, live, right? Whereas these kids are open to doing a lot more. And I just get like extremely inspired in this kind of environment. So yeah, great work.
Awesome. So, and then Holly, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Holly Aguilar. I have a graphic design background. I'm a design director. For the ride to see what this is all about. It sounds really exciting.
So what you see right now is Srini's design experience, very ad hoc. And then very soon, Holly is going to take over, and then it's going to turn it into a very surprise and delight experience. And then we also have a very special guest, in fact, somebody who's going to lead the session, Naveen Lakkur. Some of you have seen, from the email. And let's actually keep Naveen as the surprise and delight. He's going to lead the second part of the session. And I would want him to introduce himself. And then it is very, very inspiring, Naveen's journey. But more importantly, Naveen is going to reflect himself through the workshop that is going to lead towards the second part of the session. And about myself, I'm Srini Gurapu. I'm currently the vice president for one of the divisions called Claris at Apple. And I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've been very fortunate to be part of about 8 startups. And 3 of them were big success. And my most recent startup is a company called Sky High Networks, where we built cloud security, and then it got acquired by McAfee for $720 million. Right? When we first started, I remember in 2013, 2014, 2015, when I used to have something like a conference like this, roundtable conference with all the CIOs, not youth entrepreneurs, but they also call themselves youth entrepreneurs. And I used to ask them, it's like, how many people are in the cloud? And people used to say it's like 1 out of 30 people. And then here we are building a cloud security company. If people don't even move to the cloud, what do I have in a business, right? So how we took them on a journey and convincing people that cloud is actually the way to go. And then 2016 was the pivot where everybody started moving to the cloud. And then, we were one of the leaders. In fact, our competitor is a company called Netscope, started by a friend of mine, Sanjay Beri. Now they are a $10 billion company. So, and then prior to that, there was a company called Neotrust where we created SSL VPN. I've been part of networking, security, desktop virtualization, and AI and the cloud. And now I run a division for product and design, a division that's in the low-code space. I'm very, very passionate with the technology. But that is just one element of it. Why are we starting YEC? So for some of the new, let me take some time, quickly introduce what Youth Excellence Center is all about, and then a quick recap on what we covered last week, and then we'll jump into today's program. Does that sound good? So first and foremost is YEC, Youth Excellence Center. The promise is all of us, regardless of our age, whether you're like Yogya Arun in the 4th grade, or whether you are a CIO of a company where your age could be something, right? Or Srini, who is like, just turned 49 or something like that. We are all youth. Our true identity is we are all youth. And then our true identity is excellence. We are not here to live with status quos, unfair status quos, whether within our body, at our home, or around the world. Our job is to challenge them and be the quarterback, be the creator of excellence in our world. That is our true identity. If somebody tells us that, no, just accept what it is, that means they're fooling us. They're really fooling us with our wrong identity. At YEC, our promise and commitment is for everybody to realize, particularly the youth, that we represent youth eternally, all the way, all the time, And then we represent excellence in everything that we do. Right? And then quick overview is, there are two problems or opportunities that we looked at. Number one, in today's world of this digital explosion and the social media, our mind is becoming the weakest link, particularly for the youth. When I was growing up, there was only one TV channel and there limited exposure. But today, the kids are being exposed to so many distractions. It's becoming very difficult to actually keep our mind in a focused mind, concentration mind to pursue excellence. We are becoming zombies for all the distractions. So our primary focus is how do we go from that weakest link of the mind to actually go to where your mind, you are in total control of the mind. In yoga system, that's called samyama. Samyama is the power that we all need to cultivate and build to be a successful entrepreneur. If you don't have the right focus skills, you cannot succeed anywhere. And I know even people at Stanford, my older daughter finished at Stanford and my younger daughter is here. People are taking pills right now to even sit in a math class because they don't have the right attention. Attention disorder is becoming a pandemic that we don't know. So our focus at YEC is number one, all of us youth, how do we take full control of the mind and build this samyama power so that we can pursue excellence in everything that we do? That's number one. Number two is, in today's world, there is also growing inequality and a lot of divisiveness, whether it's based on race or location, region. And I truly believe that for this economic, social, regional, gender, whatever the inequality, there are policymakers, politicians, and everybody else that are doing it. I truly believe that only entrepreneurs can actually bring about the right change with the right business models. It's only the entrepreneurs who can challenge these unfair status quos, who can actually build the right companies with the right business models and create and restore that equality. And in the process, we can profit from it. So the mindset is whenever there is a problem situation, many of the folks will get into, many folks are not even aware of that there is a problem because we are not being mindful. Then the second phase of the people is people spot a problem and then they start complaining. And then the complaining is all about externalizing the problem or the source. The government is not good, the roads are not good, somebody else is not good. But it's only the true entrepreneur. They look at any status quo, the problem, and then treats it as a blessing. Wow, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Let me do something about it and build a company and then solve this thing. And with that, let me profit from it. There are so many examples. How many of you know about the story of Airbnb? Does anybody know the story of Airbnb? We all know Airbnb, right? But it's a very fascinating story. And this is the process that we are going to go through in today's session. The founders of Airbnb, they were attending a conference in San Francisco. Did anybody go to San Francisco? There is a big conference convention center called Moscone. And most of the events, if you go to any popular events, the hotels are, most of the time, they're booked. So these two kids, the youth, went there and they could not get a hotel stay. They were trying and trying and trying. They could not get in a hotel stay. And they were like, man, when there are so much space here, so many residences, it's like, why is it that we are not able to sleep anywhere? So what they ended up doing, that's when the thought came in for them. It's like, why can't we lease some room from somebody's house here and convert that into a hotel? So for those 3 days on the floor of the convention center, they started coding on how do we allow people to lease their own portions of their house or apartment so that people like us can actually go stay there. From there, Airbnb started. It caused a disruption. It's a non-linear thinking. What do we do? If you go to a vacation, what do? We always look for hotels or this stuff. But there are only some people look at that problem as a blessing and then expresses a non-linear thinking to look at like, oh, why can't I look at all this as a space? Why can't I? And look at what they have done. Now they help the homeowners or the apartment owners to profit from this. Now they have unused space and rooms and this stuff. They're providing and serving the people that are in need. And in the process, they're also getting some extra money. So that is the real entrepreneurship mindset. A similar story of this is also there in Naveen, you want to share the story about Red Bus? A company called Red Bus started in Bangalore. There are people in Bangalore, most of them are from Telugu states. During Sankranti or one of the festivals, they were trying to go home and then they could not get any one of the buses, the private buses. They were going and then they were not getting the seats. And then they realized that there is no one centralized inventory for all the coaches. So what they did was, because they could not get any seats on any coaches, they ended up staying over for those holidays. They built this redbus.com as an online centralized inventory for all the ticketing. And now that's I think that's now listed in Indian Stock Exchange. Instead of complaining about it, one of the biggest things that we do as an entrepreneur is, can I do something about it? And that's the first prerequisite of becoming an entrepreneur. Any questions or comments? So what we are going to do, one unique thing about here is, we're not just technology and entrepreneur steps, so we can all do this. But what is important for us at YEC is we're going to do that in a much more socially conscious way. So what you will see is we're going to do some exercises that are very much about mindfulness, because we also want to sharpen your mind so that you can be successful. And then the third one is we also look at it from more equitable. In other words, how can the company that we're doing is going to help particularly those people who are underprivileged. So in other words, we're going to build more socially conscious companies and entrepreneurship. And that's extremely, extremely important. Today, with the COVID, the stock market went up by so many things. So the rich are getting richer and the weaker are getting richer. And last week, so today's session, entrepreneurship mindset. The first and foremost thing is, this is the framework that we're going to use, which is about, am I sharing the screen? Okay. What you're going to see is this framework. It's called IOAM. IOAM. That's the framework that we're going to use for the entrepreneurship. What does I mean? It is looking at the situation. There can be founders who looked at the situation as, we don't have any hotel rooms. And from there, they did not just accept the situation the way it is, but they developed an insight on what is the problem, why is there a problem, what can we do about it? And from there, you design a better outcome. Insight is the current situation, where we go deeper into the situation, analyze the situation, and then come up with that idea that actually helps you define a better outcome, a better world, an excellence world, where you don't have to sleep on the floor if you don't get a hotel room, right? That's the insight to outcome. So this is what I call as a thinking muscle. This is the thinking muscle, to be able to look at any current situation and then to be able to go model into a better world, excellent world. That's a thinking muscle. This is where the imagination comes. And once you know what the beautiful state is, the beautiful experience is, then we have to come up with an execution muscle. Now, what is the action plan to realize the experience that I created? And then how do I measure it? The actions and metrics. How do I measure that I'm actually getting to the outcome that I need? So this, without the metrics, you cannot really gauge whether you're being successful or not. Metrics are extremely, extremely important. So, and then this is an execution muscle, actions and metrics. But the thing is, we're going to do that in a much more conscious way, with a strong character muscle, being mindful, being joyful, and then to be able to see equitable, to be able to help each other. These are the core human values, being truthful. Without that, any company that we build, we might be making a lot of money, but I don't think we are succeeding as a community, as an individual. So what is the YEC entrepreneurship program? Is about cultivating the think muscle, the execution muscle, and the character muscle. And then this is how, using this framework, the first question to ask is, look at any situation, what insights that you're going to get, what unfair status quos exist, and then what excellence experiences could I design, and then what actions and how do I measure it. And this we need to map to your own world. All of you are entrepreneurs. All you're the creators, and your world consists of your personal life, you who you are in your personal life, your role in the family, your role in your professional life, whether it's your school or at work, and then your role in the community. If there is a COVID, unless and until you feel ownership of the COVID situation, and then you have to play a role on what can I do to make this world a better place in the COVID situation. So we all have to instantiate or look at ourselves representing these four spheres. There could be more, but at least the four roles. If you only try to focus on designing excellence here, if the world is not in a good place, what did COVID teach us? If you wear the mask and if you stay inside, but if the other people are not doing it, we are interconnected. So we'll only succeed and we'll only build a better society when we realize our role across the four spheres. So very quickly, sight and insight. So this is sight. For the new people, when you look at a picture of a banana, what jumps out of you? What do you read out of it? What information that it communicates to you? When you see this picture,
I just think of the banana and then like the cavendish banana.
Yeah. Any other things when you go deeper into it?
I heard a lot about how the cavendish bananas are catching diseases, the trees. So that's what I think of.
I see. Any other things in the back?
Nutrition.
It is taking a picture of a banana, any piece, and then converting that into what does it have deeper inside? How is this useful to me? Or useful or not useful to me? To actually go to the real meaning behind it. When you look at the banana, it's a fruit, it's yellow, and this and stuff, right? And it's sweet. And then you have some other things that taste good or not. But that's at the periphery. The insight is about to be able to go deeper into it. What nutrition? Nutrition is like, what does it have? How can it be useful or not useful to me? That is what is called insight. And from the insight, then you have to map it to outcomes. Outcomes, like based on the nutrition information, the banana, like, the insight, some of the other things, that came from, last week's session. Not only banana is nutritious, it has more potassium and fiber and this stuff. But the other thing is, bananas are also the affordable nutrition. See, now that is another insight, is the affordable nutrition. So if you want to create a better outcome of, which is like, how do we solve world hunger? Right? The most economic way to solve this, how do you build the thing is, do more bananas or banana shakes. Not by giving, chickens or this or that, right? And these are environmentally friendly, affordable, and affordable nutrition. So that is what is going from sight to insight. Now, from that information, knowing that it's affordable and it has all these things, what outcomes can it help with? Regulate. Eating bananas is going to regulate your blood pressure. Eating bananas, promotes, better sleep, a better skin. Now, you went from a simple information, then you went into insight to actually designing better outcomes for yourself, for the people that are on there. And this is the entrepreneurship thinking muscle job. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do one small exercise and a very beautiful thing. So we're going to do an experiment of, we are all going to watch a TED Talk together. And when I watched this first time, it just took me to another realm. And I probably would have watched it at least 100 times. And this is even in my company offsites, most of the offsites I lead with this video. And what I would want us to do is, before we watch it, let's all practice a little bit of a mindfulness. And then let's simply watch that video and then again spend 1 minute just being in silence. Then look at the TED Talk like a banana. There's some kind of information that's presented to you. Now from there, I would like to hear everybody's insights and possibly outcomes. Okay, so any information that we see in our life, we're going to treat that as a banana, right? It's going to communicate some of this stuff. But our job is to then go deeper into it, inside. What is the nutrition? How is this information going to be useful for me or not useful for me? And from there, how can I create a better world? What better outcomes that we create? So this is a process. So this is what we start. We need to change our site. And then, of course, Naveen is going to do something where we are going to practice this, right? Everybody, so take attention. Let's close our eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Okay? And then you will hear one sound. What I would like us to do is connect to the sound, nothing else. And connect to the sound until you hear even the faintest of the sound. And then count how many number of counts that you have. And I'm going to do it for 3 times. Okay, everybody close your eyes. Exhale. Take one more deep breath. Exhale. Last one, take another deep breath and exhale. Now gently open your eyes. Anybody wants to say what your numbers are? Yeah, go ahead.
17, 16, and 17.
Oh, wow. That's actually the last number is so profound. Anybody else want to go? Sorry, I forgot. Yeah.
15, 16, and 15.
16, 15.
No, I got 15, 16, 15.
So we both have this. So these are some of the techniques that you could do when your mind is, beginning to scatter around, when you're losing the attention. We can actually use sound as a way to bring your mind to the centeredness, equating into connecting to the sound. And then this is how there are many different techniques that we can actually learn in the subsequent classes. So let me just play the video.
When Dorothy was a little girl, she was fascinated by her goldfish. Her father explained to her that fish swim by quickly wagging their tails to propel themselves through the water. Without hesitation, little Dorothy responded, "Yes, Daddy, and fish swim backwards by wagging their heads." In her mind, it was a fact as true as any other. Fish swim backwards by wagging their heads. She believed it. Our lives are full of fish swimming backwards. We make assumptions and faulty leaps of logic. We harbor bias. We know that we are right and they are wrong. We fear the worst. We strive for unattainable perfection. We tell ourselves what we can and cannot do. In our minds, fish swim by in reverse, frantically wagging their heads, and we don't even notice them. I'm going to tell you 5 facts about myself. One fact is not true. 1, I graduated from Harvard at 19 with an honors degree in mathematics. 2, I currently run a construction company in Orlando. 3, I starred on a television sitcom. 4, I lost my sight to a rare genetic eye disease. 5, I served as a law clerk to 2 US Supreme Court justices. Which fact's not true? Actually, they're all true. Yeah, they're all true. Most people really only care about the television show. I know this from experience. Okay, so the show was NBC's Saved by the Bell, the new class. And I played Weasel Wiesel, who was the sort of dorky, nerdy character on the show, which made it a very major acting challenge for me as a 13-year-old boy. Now, did you struggle with number 4, my blindness? Why is that? We make assumptions about so-called disabilities. As a blind man, I confront others' incorrect assumptions about my abilities every day. My point today is not about my blindness, however. It's about my vision. Going blind taught me to live my life eyes wide open. It taught me to spot those backward swimming fish that our minds create. Going blind casts them into focus. What does it feel like to see? It's immediate and passive. You open your eyes and there's the world. Seeing is believing, sight is truth, right? Well, that's what I thought. Then from age 12 to 25, my retinas progressively deteriorated. My sight became an increasingly bizarre carnival funhouse hall of mirrors and illusions. The salesperson I was relieved to spot in a store was really a mannequin. Reaching down to wash my hands, I suddenly saw it was a urinal I was touching, not a sink, when my fingers felt its true shape. A friend described the photograph in my hand, and only then I could see the image depicted. Objects appeared, morphed, and disappeared in my reality. It was difficult and exhausting to see. I pieced together fragmented, transitory images, consciously analyzed the clues, searched for some logic in my crumbling kaleidoscope, until I saw nothing at all. I learned that what we see is not universal truth. It is not objective reality. What we see is a unique, personal, virtual reality that is masterfully constructed by our brain. Let me explain with a bit of amateur neuroscience. Your visual cortex takes up about 30% of your brain. That's compared to approximately 8% for touch and 2 to 3% for hearing. Every second, your eyes can send your visual cortex as many as 2 billion pieces of information. The rest of your body can send your brain only an additional billion. So sight is 1/3 of your brain by volume and can claim about 2/3 of your brain's processing resources. It's no surprise then that the illusion of sight is so compelling. But make no mistake about it, sight is an illusion. Here's where it gets interesting. To create the experience of sight, your brain references your conceptual understanding of the world, other knowledge, your memories, opinions, emotions, mental attention, all of these things, and far more, are linked in your brain to your sight. These linkages work both ways and usually occur subconsciously. So, for example, what you see impacts how you feel, and the way you feel can literally change what you see. Numerous studies demonstrate this. If you are asked to estimate the walking speed of a man in a video, for example, your answer will be different if you're told to think about cheetahs or turtles. A hill appears steeper if you've just exercised, and a landmark appears farther away if you're wearing a heavy backpack. We have arrived at a fundamental contradiction. What you see is a complex mental construction of your own making, but you experience it passively as a direct representation of the world around you. You create your own reality and you believe it. I believed mine until it broke apart. The deterioration of my eyes shattered the illusion. You see, sight is just one way we shape our reality. We create our own realities in many other ways. Let's take fear as just one example. Your fears distort your reality. Under the warped logic of fear, anything is better than the uncertain. Fear fills the void at all costs, passing off what you dread for what you know, offering up the worst in place of the ambiguous, substituting assumption for reason. Psychologists have a great term for it, awfulizing, right? Fear replaces the unknown with the awful. Now, fear is self-realizing. When you face the greatest need to look outside yourself and think critically, fear beats a retreat deep inside your mind, shrinking and distorting your view, drowning your capacity for critical thought with a flood of disruptive emotions. When you face a compelling opportunity to take action, fear lulls you into inaction, enticing you to passively watch its prophecies fulfill themselves. When I was diagnosed with my blinding disease, I knew blindness would ruin my life. Blindness was a death sentence for my independence. It was the end of achievement for me. Blindness meant I would live an unremarkable life, small and sad, and likely alone. I knew it. This was a fiction born of my fears, but I believed it. It was a lie, but it was my reality, just like those backward swimming fish in little Dorothy's mind. If I had not confronted the reality of my fear, I would have lived it. I am certain of that. So, how do you live your life eyes wide open? It is a learned discipline. It can be taught. It can be practiced. I'll summarize very briefly. Hold yourself accountable for every moment, every thought, every detail. See beyond your fears, recognize your assumptions, harness your internal strength, silence your internal critic, correct your misconceptions about luck and about success, accept your strengths and your weaknesses and understand the difference. Open your heart and your weaknesses to your bountiful blessings. Open your heart and your weaknesses to your fears, your critics, open your heart, heroes, your villains. Then open your heart, your excuses, rationalizations, shortcuts, justifications, your surrender. They are fictions you perceive as reality. Choose to see through them. Choose to let them go. You are the creator of your reality. With that empowerment comes complete responsibility. I chose to step out of fear's tunnel into terrain uncharted and undefined. I chose to build there a blessed life. Far from alone, I share my beautiful life with Dorothy. My family, sweet baby Clementine. What do you fear? What love? In your career and personal, your relationships, soul, or backward swimming fish, do they exact a toll in missed opportunities and unrealized potential? And they engender insecurity and mistrust where you seek fulfillment and connection. I urge you to search them out. Helen Keller said that the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. For me, going blind was a profound blessing because blindness gave me vision. I hope you can see what I see. Thank you.
Okay. It's a very profound video. Sorry for the difficulties there. So anybody, did anything jump out of anybody's insights from any takeaways from this video?
I've got one.
Okay, it's like you're not, I mean, I know you are the most qualified youth.
No, I was gonna say,
yeah.
This is proof, and as you go through your entrepreneur career, things just don't go perfectly most of the time, right? They always have to adapt. So
yeah. So which is anybody else? What Shruti?
I liked how he was talking about how he thought that blindness would like end his like life and like he wouldn't be able to accomplish anything else, and like how he related that to the backwards swimming fish.
Yeah.
And his like fears for the fish swimming backwards.
Sounds good. Anything else? Actually, everybody say one thing. Actually, that's a good thing. So what jumped out of it? I mean, everything is the right answer. Everything is the right answer. So what did you take away from that?
To me, what I felt that jumped out of me was his last saying that blindness gave him vision.
Blindness.
I never really thought about like what he was saying before, so I forgot what I was gonna say.
I see. Okay.
I really thought like how like a blindness could be like a blessing, because like a lot of people usually like feel like their life are kind of like stuff like him, like he made it like so he's like still so successful.
That's cool. Samskriti?
I like how he said that even though he lost his sight, he had a vision, because many of us consider those the same things.
Yeah.
I like how he gave the example of him like seeing the image and then like him looking at reality. Like I like how he like strengthens his argument about how blindness really affects him.
Okay, blindness. Yeah.
No, I think I really like because like positive outlook, even though he's like, yeah, he's accepting that he's going blind, he still didn't totally give up.
That's cool. Anything from the thing? Parthiv or Shrikar? Parthiv?
It was for me. It was the fact that like how everything is an illusion to us. The fact that like he was saying like how our emotions heavily impact the way our world like our sight is what we feel. So based on how we're feeling, it changes, and like it can create a different world for us by the way we think in our mental process.
And Shrikar?
I guess just his perseverance, because like he said that he imagined that his life when he was blind would be like something, but he just pushed forward and he got like a better life which he wanted.
That's very fun. I think this kind of leads into what Naveen is going to lead into, and some of the stats that he said, where the way the brain works is eyes actually contribute about 10 to 20% of your entire information, but it takes about 60% of the CPU processing power. So sight actually dominates all the other sensory perceptions, including your ability to think and comprehend. So that's where sight can actually fool us. And some of us, we can actually, if you actually watch a movie, when you're engrossed in watching the movie, you don't really connect to some of the background music and all that stuff. For you to actually connect to the real essence of the background music and the actual dialogues, you probably have to not watch the movie, the picture. Then you actually connect to the essence. So the thing here is, as entrepreneurs, we can be fooled by the periphery image, and we get into the periphery details, but we don't connect to the essence, like a banana. Go ahead.
Would you humor me and give me a minute
to
demonstrate something?
Yeah, please.
I think what he's describing there is extremely profound. And I want to take you guys through a really simple exercise.
Yeah.
Marissa Peer is a psychologist out of the UK, which she's brilliant. I've interviewed her on my show, and she's somebody that I just have so much respect for. But she had done a TED Talk, and she did this simple exercise, and I think it's really powerful. I'd like you guys just to humor me. I want you to just imagine you have a lemon in your hand, okay? And that lemon's cut in half. Everybody hold out their hand. Look in front of you. I want you to look at that lemon, see that lemon, just visualize it. Now, it's a lemon, it's yellow, it's got a rind inside. Now pull that lemon up to your nose. Now I want you to just imagine you can smell that lemon. Anybody, can you smell that lemon at all? Now take a bite of it. What happens? Does anybody's mouth water, pucker?
Yeah.
You know, everybody talks about how powerful our minds are. And it's like this brain, this computer, it can do anything, everything. But this is why we get manipulated so easily. And this is why we're our own worst enemies. You know, in the video, he talked about awfulizing. Oh, what a great term. Taking fear, and it's like we make the worst things in our minds happen. But what happens when we have negative self-talk, or when we see ourselves as a failure, we see ourselves as not being as cool as this person over here, we kind of become that, you know, and it's really hard to break free from it. So we need to remember that our brains are these powerful things, but at the same time, it's the most easily manipulated. So this is why positive self-talk, coming to things like this, you know, letting Srini really show you guys a better way. It's like, it takes you from awfulizing to understanding that fear is really just false evidence appearing real, and it's not real. It's what we make it. So I want to share that exercise.
Love it. I mean, this is called visualization. You know, you can actually create what you want without actually having done that in the thing. But most of the time, we don't engage those faculties. Mind is the creative thing. So when you're starting a company, the first part of it is to be able to see it.
Yeah.
See it fully made. Feel every details. You know, if you follow the cricket, you know, one of the exercises that they did before winning the World Cup is like every day they go into this visualization exercise where they would actually prepare as if like they're holding the cup. So a big part of the entrepreneurship is, number one, go from sight to insight to process the thing, to actually visualize that final experience. If you're creating a company like an Apple, you're building a next generation watch, go figure out, live all the details, imagine. It's almost like that lemon where you could feel the taste of it without having the lemon.
It's what manifestation is.
Exactly, that is what the manifestation is. When you actually when we move into the execution muscle, we actually write a business plan where we actually put data to support that visualization. Then once you start your own idea and the design experience and write a business plan, the company is already built. Now you just have to put some details into it.
Yeah, I have one more simple, quick exercise that'll demonstrate the power of the mind. And if you humor this again, just imagine sitting in a chair, and I want you to turn back and look as far back as you can, just over your shoulder. Just turn back. Doesn't matter how tight you are. So you look back and, okay, now come back forward. Now, I want you to imagine yourself. Your head is like an owl. You can turn 360 degrees. Your head will turn all the way around. And I want to see yourself like literally your head is like spinning around. And see yourself doing that. Now, take a breath and then turn back and see how much further you turn this time. How many of you turned further without any effort? Yeah. Your mind will do what you tell it to. And this is why I love that phrase, awfulizing. I'd never heard of that, but we have the power to do the opposite.
This is what this entrepreneurship is all about in the mindset, right? We often tell, as Paul said, you know, to be an entrepreneur, we always say, like, oh, I'm not as gifted like the Airbnb founder. Airbnb founder is anybody but like us. In fact, you know, just humanize everybody. Everybody is like one of us. It's just that they prepared their mind to believe it, and then they start manifesting the things. It's just like how you all just did. Just imagine that you are old and then you did this and then you went further. So that's the journey of an entrepreneurship. And one of the other thing that we're going to do is, one is the takeaway is the mindset. And then the second thing is, I stopped towards the end. There was a Q&A where somebody asked, you're now blind. How are you functioning as a CEO of a company? Can you imagine a blind person being a CEO? So what he says is, there's a very profound insight, which I wish I had known. But he says, like, being blind, it actually turned that company into one of the most harmonious places to work, more joyful places, because he actually trained everybody to express their thought in words, right? Most of us at home or at school, we keep most of our thoughts inside and we don't actually verbalize, we don't communicate. We are all playing the guessing game. Oh, no, 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 my mom thinks that way. No, my sister thinks that way. And then you're trying to maneuver. Everybody is maneuvering without actually stating what that is. Now, being a blind, he literally taught everybody to verbalize their thinking, emotions and everything, just put it on the paper. Now there is no ambiguity. So the best thing that you can do, which is like most of the time, or what, how many times, like try practicing blindfoldedness. It actually, one of the exercises that I used to do in the entrepreneurship is we actually team up people. One person actually is blindfolded, the other person guides them through the park. And you come back and then you see like your hearing, your clarity, everything is heightened. So the cool thing is, don't just be fooled with this. This is just to consume some information, then everything else is going deeper. That happens within. That's the insight and the vision. And then translating that into verbalizing and executing into manifestation.
There's another blind CEO that you should all look up, and I know most of you aren't taking notes, but I'll make this easy. There's a book called No Barriers. Look it up on Amazon. A gentleman by the name of Eric Weidemeyer. He's blind. He's been blind since he was a youth. He's scaled every major peak around the world. He's kayaked the most difficult rapids. And he's done all of this without sight, and he created a institution where he actually helps people, break free of their barriers. And one of the people that came was a person who has no arms and no legs. He basically has stumps for his arms and legs. And this person wanted to learn to climb. And so they took him on the first climb they did. They didn't have equipment for him, so they basically took burlap sacks and wrapped around his stumps with duct tape. And this guy basically crawled up these like little peaks, and then they started doing more and more difficult climbs. And in his book, he talks about how he's up climbing this major peak, and I don't remember which mountain it was. And there was a point where the guy with no arms and legs couldn't go any further, so he put him on his back. So the blind man is carrying this guy that has no arms and legs. He was his eyes, and he was his arms and legs.
Yeah, those are some of the techniques that we're going to do. Our capacity is not limited to ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're going to instantiate ourselves with second brain, more people, use others as a lens. That's what teamwork is going to come down to, right? So that's how we are actually going to prosecute the thing. So I know we are kind of doing a lot of exciting things. Now let me, without much further ado, let me introduce our chief guest and the coach. And it's been my joyful ride and the pleasure. I've known Naveen now for like 2 weeks, but it feels like eternity, right? So Naveen, please take over.
Namaste, everyone. Good morning to you all. Just a sound check. Say yes if you're able to hear me.
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. It's just a fantastic morning, Sunday morning, with such wonderful insights. And the temptation of the bananas to the lemons, which is not even there. So fantastic. I'm enjoying it every bit, and able to visualize all of it, even though I'm far away, but feel like as if I'm with you there physically, right? So that's the experience that you people gave me this morning to you and night to me. I thought today the session being, kind of set for the site, the vision and the importance of that for entrepreneurship and the mindset which is required. These are all some topics which are close to my heart and what I do and teach and so on. So a quick intro about my own self. I'm a serial entrepreneur turned innovation coach. Been in the technology field, but now as an innovation coach, I do training programs for in the healthcare industry, in the automotive industry, high-tech industry, and many others. And where we want to enable people for that excellence, right? And innovation is the way to build that new age leadership. And intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship are high impact creating methods or ways to really bring this change that the world needs and do it the right way, right? So with that as a background, let me share my screen. Would I be able to share my screen? Yes. Mhm.
Got it.
Okay, here I go. I'm going to talk about extraordinary entrepreneurship. Um, so what I would be doing is like three things, right? One, a little extra mindset that is required for in the entrepreneurial journey. Second is share a little personal experience of mine. And third is about our insights, sharing insights. Are you all game for it? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I know it's night for me. It's a day for you all. So I'm expecting that full enthusiasm, energy, and all of it, which I have no doubt. And Sunday means it's a little extra energy that you have. It's the sun's day, so you have a lot of rays falling on you to energize you, right? So that's a little extra, even beyond you, which is able to give you. Are we open and are we willing to receive it? That's the whole thing, right? So with these three as objectives for today's session, I'm going to start with by saying that I'm going to be leveraging. One second. Why is okay? So I'm going to be leveraging quotes from my book, A Little Extra. I've authored several books with international recognition. In fact, Srini was talking about Red Bus. I've quoted that story of Pani Sama as an entrepreneur in the book Found, which is ranked as one of the best books in USA in entrepreneurship category. It's for ideation, where smart people do not have the problem of not having ideas. In fact, actually, they have a bigger problem, too many ideas. So which one do you pick? Not all ideas have business in it. So how do you pick an idea which has higher winning potential? At the same time, no idea is a bad idea. And when you have that, how do you go that little extra mile, which can make a huge difference? And that little extra is what is going to be impactful, right? So with that, I have to introduce a character by name Zoe. Okay. And his friends say that he's got that X factor. And he started wondering, what is this X factor all about? Where is this coming from? And then he realized that, it's the attitude of being a little extra in all aspects of life. And then he also realizes and understands that it's the little extra in the correct place makes ordinary extraordinary. And everyone can experience that X factor, right? He wishes you that. And with that, Zoe is going to be with us and through this session and beyond. So let's welcome Zoe. Are you really interested in getting Zoe along with us today? Say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to even you type in, say, I kind, and you know what? Zoe is an extraordinary entrepreneur. And he is somebody who's achieved quite a bit. And, what happens because of that is this. You talking good about others is ordinary. You talking good about others is ordinary. Others talking good about you is extraordinary, right? And Zoe's got there. And by the way, ordinary is not bad. A disclaimer important for you all to know, ordinary is not bad. And, you talking good about others is a nice thing. Just imagine you talking bad about others. That's not even ordinary, right? But if that little extra, with that little extra, what happens is others talking good about you is extraordinary. Zoe got there where others are talking good about him. He's an extraordinary entrepreneur now. Now, I would like you to say, what do you think would have got him there? You can either shout out or type in, maybe shout out, because I see not everybody is connected online to this session. what do you think would have got Zoe to be in that spot where others are talking good about him?
Not expecting anything back. Anything, like, why would somebody say good things about it?
Achievements.
Achievements is one. What else?
Being positive, kind of.
Being positive, yeah.
Being motivated.
Being motivated,
Modesty.
generous.
Oh, fantastic.
The ability to inspire others.
Fantastic. Ability to inspire others. Modesty, generosity. By the way, as Zoe said, there's going to be a special gift and Srini is going to gift. So, and the gift is a copy of the book, a little extra. And Zoe has already said, all these are correct and superb. But there is one which he wants, or three of it, which he feels should come out from the context of even entrepreneurship. So looking forward for that. If it matches, Srini is going to be a little extra.
Exactly. Zoe is innovative.
Yogya Arun is putting his hand up. Go ahead.
I just had one question. If everybody else is ordinary and saying good things about others, then Zoe would be one of the people who would get those good things if everybody else is ordinary. So is that correct?
Everybody is not necessarily as ordinary. Everybody has the potential to be extraordinary. It's that instance or that moment of what it is that everybody is talking about. You change the context, then who knows, Zoe might become ordinary there, right? And that's the mindset that we all need to even understand. So one of the exercise that we will do, you'll probably get there and get to understand that.
Is it plodding on and introspecting and continuing to work, overcoming setbacks?
Fantastic, very nice.
Taking risks.
Very nice.
Facing the fear of failure.
Yeah, so it's like, but taking the risk for what?
Anything, like just
Calculated risk, right?
No, risk.
Risk of failure.
Just like not being afraid of like failure and stuff and what your goals.
But that is about not failure, but to achieve something, right? You take risk. What is that? You take risk for what?
Trying new things.
Exactly, to do new things. Why do people want to do new things?
Change.
For a better.
To challenge themselves.
To challenge themselves. Fantastic. So these are all some of those attributes, qualities, which I'm sure we can deliberate more. There's some fantastic nuggets going to come out of it, which Srini would probably facilitate and bring it out as I have a little time left. So let me move from here to a story that Zoe wants to tell you all. So are you game?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So here is Zoe's thought. Having sight is ordinary. Having sight is ordinary. Having a vision is extraordinary. I'm giving a few seconds for you to contemplate, to think, and let it sink in, right? And Zoe has a story to say. He wants me to convey one story about Jack and Chill. Are you all ready for it? Say, yeah,
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So Jack and Chill are amazing friends. These two young boys wanted to venture into doing some work in the city, and they live in the countryside. So they go to the city and do their little work and coming back. Actually, you have to know a bit about Jack and Chill. So Jack is an amazing guy, multitasking, very talented, and so on. So that's Jack. He's like Jack of all. And Chill is a person very capable, but he can't see. He's blind, and so he needs that little help. Jack and Chill, they kind of play together. They're growing up together and they want to do some work together. So here they are visiting the city after their meeting and the little work that they had. They're heading back. They chose to walk across in the countryside, after getting off the transportation that they had taken, public transportation. So once they were on the fields, walking in the countryside, the sun was up there, Sunday, hot Sunday, and it was burning hot, and they were getting a little tired, and also very thirsty. So as they were walking, Jack saw one nice field there, and he said, "You know what? I see juicy cucumbers, and we are so thirsty and hungry. Let me go fetch some." So Chill said, "Hold on, I have few questions for you." So Jack said, "What questions, man? We are so hungry. Let me go just grab some and bring it for you also." He said, "No, no, no. I have few questions. You better answer that." He said, "Okay, ask me." Then Chill asked, "Are there many cucumbers or just one?" He says, "There are many. Don't worry. Just chill. I'll go bring some." He said, "No, no, hold on. Is it fenced? The place is fenced, or is it wild? Is it open?" He said, "It's open." And then he said, "One more question." He said, "You're asking too many questions. I'm thirsty and I'm hungry. Just allow me." He said, "No, no, hold on. One last question." So he said, "Okay, ask me. Is it like wild, or is it well organized?" And he said, "It's wild. And nobody manning it. Nobody is caring. So I can just go fetch it." He said, "No, we are not eating this." Jack was angry now, saying, "Dude, don't tell me that we are not eating. It's so hot out there, and we are so thirsty and hungry, and juicy cucumbers right in front of us, and you don't want to eat? Are you crazy?" Chill said, "No, we are not eating this." Jack was upset, but Chill was adamant, and they went ahead. Much later, they understood these cucumbers were actually poisonous. Jack could see the cucumbers, but Chill could see the poison in that. Good they didn't eat. They moved ahead. How do you think a person who could not see it could actually see what's there inside that cucumber? Think about it. In fact, I didn't even know the difference between sight and vision. I paid a very big price to know the difference between sight and vision. While playing in water, I met with a freak accident and hard splashes by some people whom I didn't even know. It was in a water theme park that I landed in between few people, and those hard splashes tore my retinas out. I was blind for a period and went through close to 14 interventions, surgeries, major ones. I was written off case medically. And when I could read very, very well, I hardly read. Now, this is the bonus life of mine, where, when I can read only by one eye and both eyes put together, equivalent of one eye 30% is what I have as my sight. I write books. How is that? And now my one-line introduction is, my name is Naveen Lakkur. I'm a person with limited sight, gifted with unlimited vision, gifted by God. That is who I am. Having sight is ordinary. Having a vision is extraordinary. Actually, I want you to think in terms of vision, the power of vision. I realized, having paid such a big price, I don't want others to pay that price, because I've realized that every entrepreneurial venture needs vision. Every entrepreneurial initiative needs vision. Every product needs vision. Every enterprise needs vision. Many times it's hanging as a statement on the wall, not knowing it's such a powerful strategic tool. Every leader needs vision. In leader is where the vision is where people get enrolled and get into that path, following the leader. That's the power of the vision. Earlier, I didn't know the difference. In fact, William Miller, who started Stanford Research Institute's innovation program, when we were meeting together, when there was a situation that, I realized what I had lost was sight and what I've gained is vision. He had asked me that difference between sight and vision. Until then, I'd never thought about it. And then it took 3 days for it to sink in my mind. And then I realized sight is something which is definite in shape, size, color, distance at any given point in time. And so much depends on the context, the emotion, everything is based on the influence of it, right? And vision has no boundaries. In fact, a question to you all, what do you think is vision?
Curiosity.
Now we got to see the sight, but what is vision?
I think it's seeing what's possible.
Srini, you might have to repeat because I can't hear.
There are two answers. One is one answer was vision is having curiosity, and then the second one was vision is about seeing what is possible.
Okay.
What doesn't exist, but what is possible, seeing beyond what's out there.
Fantastic. Very
defining. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Priya.
Well, defining a purpose on what you want to accomplish in your life or contribute in addition to professional growth or materialistic achievements.
Fantastic. Then, anybody else?
Clarity on the future use.
Clarity on a future use.
Fantastic. It's the ability to see the future state, right? The visualization and the ability to see the future state. In fact, the other question of mine would kind of help you. And Srini, in today's session, call it coincidence, many of those tips or nuggets has already come out. And the TED Talk that we watched, so there is some revealing of these mindsets, which are very essential in entrepreneurial journey, right? So those are all out there, and I'm sure it's the ability for us to connect that and ability to connect those dots. And how do you think Chill was able to see the poison inside a juicy cucumber, while Jack was able to see the juicy cucumber? He was able to connect the dots, right? And they were data points, and the way he asked questions, the power of questions, and the power of processing that, ability to visualize, and the way to connect that. It's not very obvious, and it's not so easy to relate because we're all equipped with our visual capabilities with the eyes as a sight, and that's what makes it much difficult. But how do you do? You can practice. Like Steve Jobs did say, it's hard to see and connect the dots in the future, it's easier to look back and connect the dots, right? So let's do an exercise. If you are very interested, how many of you are interested to see how to connect the dots and develop this mindset? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
I would love to hear double I, if you are already got an email from us as Institute of Inspiring Innovation for the YEC members today who are attending this session. Say I if you have received an email.
I.
Aye.
Okay, so a lot of you have. And say triple I if in case you're all excited and want to do a little exercise.
I.
Oh, fantastic. So, so here is what you'll have to do. Actually, in the little extra for extraordinary results, that's what we are aspiring for. It's important that we learn how to connect the dots. And let's take the cue as what Steve Jobs said. Zoe is already reached there on top, where others are speaking good about him because of the entrepreneurial journey that he's gone through multiple times, and there is some connection, logical steps where he's got there, right? So now it's an exercise that you'll have to do by going to OIL platform. OIL is online innovation learning platform. And jump into it and go to a section called toolkit, and there you will see one is the questions, the quiz side that you would have probably already seen. The other is connecting the dots. You will see a tool, and what you need to do is play the game and see how Zoe got there. By the way, couple of things. There is no one particular path to get there. You could have your own, but there is a way that Zoe is thinking based on his mindset, right? And let us see how much of your mindset is matching with Zoe, and if it doesn't matter, right? Because you have your own way. But the game here is all about that match of that mindset. And I thought we will have this game you're playing this game. Two prizes are there. For somebody who's got the full score of 12, and for somebody who manages to get, the first person who manages to get a O. Both are unique here, right? So, and once you get your score, take a screenshot or share it. Whoever is going to share, Ashini will ensure that a copy of a book, a little extra, will reach you. So your time starts now, and you have 10 minutes, and then we will conclude with the section of what insights did you have from today's session. So with that, I hand it over to you.
Yeah. So, Naveen, the game is, should we wait until they finish the game in 10 minutes?
If you can. Otherwise, if the time is up, I don't know how much time you would have. So then you could handle it.
So basically, it's like the other way to do this is they can actually go do the game out of band and then have them share the thing, and then we will pick it up next week, and then we'll reveal the insights in this stuff.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, and over to you as to what you're all gems. It was such a pleasure getting introduced to you all, and irrespective of your age, your aspiration, your wanting to really create an impact in this world inspires me. Well, as much as I'm here to inspire you all, I got inspired. Thank you so much. And platform is yours for you to share any insights that you got out of today's session.
And Naveen, thank you so much for taking out this journey. And Naveen, coaches some of the brilliant minds and entrepreneurs and CEOs across all the different companies from Ernst & Young to Dell, and to actually to cultivate this innovation entrepreneurial mindset within the organization and outside. And he has not only done that, he has done a lot of research and gamified everything and created this oil as a platform, so that all of us, just like playing video games, you can actually play these games to actually build this entrepreneurial mindset. So I want all of you to take advantage of this free game that's done. I know in some of these organizations pay a lot of money to actually get access to this platform. So all of you have access to this. Please take advantage of it, and then connect to Naveen. He's one of the youngest minds that I've seen, and I'm learning from him. But the topic is so important for us. Don't be limited by the limited capability of the site, like seeing the banana and the fruit and yellow. It is like, to be able to go beyond, we have the capability to go see much further beyond, and then imagine a better world. And that's what John Kennedy, right, in a sense, is like, when he saw that we can all go to the moon as a vision, right? So we all can actually look at everything around us and then create a vision for a better world for us. If somebody says like, sorry, I cannot get to, let's say, Harvard, it is like you're being fooled by your sight. It's like, there is no. Just like what Paul demonstrated to us, like, oh, we could turn it a little bit further, because it has to first think here, right? The sight and the vision. But the way is, anybody playing with artificial intelligence, okay, artificial intelligence is, we can actually cultivate it by seeing more and more of these examples of Airbnb and Redbus or Instagram or any one of these companies. We actually then we start cultivating the mind. Oh, we could also think like that. I can assure you, I'm not any more gifted. In fact, Kiran, who's been helping me with this stuff, she's more gifted, right? We both went to the same school, right? And her name is in the roll of honor. Where I had to cultivate this, now I've been part of some startups. So all of us have that ability. In fact, imagination. We just have to see, not just look at what it is, but to be able to then go see, it's like, what is possible, to go beyond, and then the world start revealing to you. For that, just don't get carried away by this candy and this stuff, because we are living a life of periphery. The real potential is like what Naveen basically said, with 30% sight. Now he is doing more things than what he was doing before. Right, the real capacity got unveiled right now. So Naveen, thank you so much. We'll do the game afterwards, and then the offer that Naveen and I have, like whoever finishes is first, the 12, whoever goes 12, and then whoever gets to the O, I think they will get a little extra book. And if you are free, please get hold of this book, get a little extra. And Naveen has this magic gift to put all these concepts in nice cartoons and Zo and this stuff. So this is a very, very gamification experience. So all of us, thank you for that. Let's actually end with the final entrepreneurship. Yeah, no. And so we start always with the invocation for getting the right learning experience in the partnership, and we end with the real entrepreneurship anthem. And let me sing this.
Sorry to interrupt. Before we wind up, so just to understand, are we doing the game offline after we end today's?
Offline, because we're already exceeding the time. Yep, we'll do the game offline. Yep. So go ahead, Yogi Arun, go ahead.
I had another question. Can you quickly again explain the game and what we're supposed to do?
One is you will get an email. In the email, your account. Sorry, you already have an account that is provisioned for the oil platform. Log into that, and then the toolkit, there is a game called Connecting the Dots. Naveen, is it called Connecting the Dots?
Correct.
Exactly. So just go to the Connecting the Dots and then just go through the game, and then it will guide you.
Okay, thank you.
Right, and then again reiterating, whoever gets the 12, the perfect score, and then whoever gets to the O, I think both of them are going to become a little extra for today. Right, so that's what is going to happen. So we'll end with the final entrepreneurship, the prayer. And this is what we will talk about, which is Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As an entrepreneur, we're all going from the untruth to the truth. Untruth is the truth that is created by our sight. It is all status quos, inefficiencies, divisions, and all that stuff. And our journey is going from that to the truth. Truth is excellent, having vision and creating the beautiful what is possible. That's the real truth, excellence for us and for the people around us. As an entrepreneur, we are committed. This is like our anthem. And then we go from darkness. Darkness is actually, we with our eyes wide open, we become blind because we get fooled by the sight. Darkness to the light when we have vision. And then we go from finite, death or finite, we being finite beings to infinite beings. Like look at Steve Jobs, he only lived a small time, but he's eternal. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. You live much longer because you made a positive difference. Because you're not limited by your limited sensory capabilities. You're expanding a capability beyond what is presented by your eyes to create and imagine experiences. And then once you imagine it, you can actually go execute it. And that's an entrepreneurship anthem. On that note, let's end today's session. We'll again meet next Sunday. Thank you all.